Could you tell me a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself for people who don't know who you are and what you stand for?
Yeah, certainly, Hannah. I'm Keith Tordoff, MBE. I'm actually from a place called Pateley Bridge in Nidderdale, North Yorkshire, and I am the only independent candidate standing for Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner in the election, which is on the 25th of November.
Of course, and you mentioned you're independent there. Your slogan says, keep politics out of policing. What do you mean by this?
Well, I'm funding my own campaign. I'm passionate about actually trying to improve society, and that's why I do a lot in terms of the community, locally volunteering, etc. And the problem is that the role of Police Fire Crime Commissioner, when it was set up by the Conservatives in 2012, was established for somebody from the community, recognisable in the community, to act as the bridge between the public and the police, to hold the police to account. What's happened is it's become a very political role. And in North Yorkshire, we've had two Police Crime Commissioner since 2012, Julia Mulligan, who held it for a number of years, and she was obviously not supported any longer by the Conservatives, so they selected Mr. Allott, who obviously we know the history of that, unfortunately, that he came out with such crass and inappropriate comments that he had to resign, and rightly so. So that I see that a lot of time's being wasted over politics, and the politicians, every other candidate, they may be very capable, nice people, but Conservatives will always toe the Conservative line. Labour will follow the Labour Party line. And the Equality Party are really representing one area. They haven't said anything else on the manifesto about other issues such as antisocial behaviour, drugs, road safety, etc. And the Lib Dems, who said if they're elected, they would want to abolish the post. Well, being independent, I can represent everybody from whatever party or whatever area of North Yorkshire they come from. And I think that's vitally important that we get back to what it was established for in 2012.
Mm-hmm. Of course, thank you. And why do you think you should be the next commissioner?
I think I come with the skill sets required for this role. It's a huge role when you think about the thousands of personnel in the police and fire services, the office of the Police Fire Crime Commissioner itself, the fact that it's huge budgets, multi-million-pound budgets. I come with over 20 years police experience, exemplary service records, serving in specialist departments, working on the Peter Sutcliffe's reign of terror in West Yorkshire where he was murdering women and girls, and clearly I was the first officer on the scene of two of those murders, Wilma McCann in 1975 in Scott Hall Plainfield, and Jacqueline Hill, a student girl on her way home in Headingley, walking up Alma Road, and I had to do the identification with the parents and give evidence at the inquest. So I understand about people and situations. Also, though, I went on to have a career for 10 years as a bank fraud investigator involving multi-million-pound budgets. In the community, I've run businesses, including a little sweet shop, the oldest sweet shop in the world at Pateley Bridge, which is world-renowned as a brand, but serving as a volunteer, delivering on things like making it the best high street in the whole country, making it Britain in Bloom national champion. I'm a patron of Dementia Forward, a charity obviously in North Yorkshire. Also fundraiser of the year 2 years in 2018 for the North of England for Yorkshire Ambulance. I bring the skill sets to this role which can bring people together, independent, but amazingly the people who've contacted me from around North Yorkshire, can we deliver leaflets for you? We want to see politics out of the policing and fire service. And I know I can bring people together, people can work with me. I'm somebody who's capable of running a big organisation, and I think whilst I was a police officer, I'm willing to challenge the culture of police, because I actually also acted as a defence solicitor's representative, actually representing the other side, the offenders. So I've seen how the police can get it wrong, and when they do get it wrong, they need to be pulled up. So I'm not going in there wanting to live a police career. That's historic, is my service. It's the skills I bring to this role, what I want to passionately bring, which is to create change. And my priorities now clearly are safer streets for all. That's my message. And as regards the protection of women and girls, that's got to be a priority. It should have been for a long time. And when we think, we did have a lady who was police fire crime commissioner for a lot of years, Julia Mulligan. So it's not about the gender, it's about who can actually now bring people together, work with organisations, work with councillors, MPs, but be challenging. A political appointment will never do that. They can't do, because if the party say, I don't want you to raise taxes on the precept to fund the police or fire service, that political appointee will not be able to do it. I can challenge, fight for people, whatever the background, whatever the gender, whatever the ethnic background. And we clearly need to now make our police and fire services more representative of North Yorkshire. And so that it's really, it's not about money, it's not about an ego, because I want people to tick me as the first choice on the ballot paper, put the party second possibly, but I don't want to be second, because I want to be elected so I can actually bring about real change, and not talking about it, actually delivering, which I've proven track record of actually always delivering on what I say I will do. I'm not doing it for the money, and this isn't being clever to say, oh, I've got enough money, but I've committed, as I did when I stood in May, when I came third in this contest. I committed £20,000 of the salary if elected every year to go to local good causes, and that stands now if I get elected. So it's about wanting to make a difference, wanting to care, and actually involve everybody, because I'm aware that people from ethnic minorities don't trust the police, feel as though, why would they support the police? Why would they join? Why would they become special constables? Why would they actually become a firefighter? Well, I want to encourage that, because it is underrepresented, both the police and the fire service of North Yorkshire. And I want to encourage people, whatever their age, whatever the background, to be able to communicate and talk. And that's what I will bring through, and hopefully publicise what the role's actually about, because I don't think we've had a police fire crime commissioner, or a police crime commissioner as it started, since 2012. I don't think a lot of the public of North Yorkshire understand what it's about.
Of course, and one thing you mentioned there was one of your priorities being women's safety. How would you be trying to achieve this if you got commissioner? Absolutely.
It's highlighted a huge problem that clearly the public don't have confidence, and certainly women and girls don't have confidence. They feel frightened. I went through an era in the police where women and girls daren't go on the streets on the evening when Peter Sutcliffe was murdering women throughout West Yorkshire and other areas. It was literally deserted, so I've seen that, and I've dealt with the impact of it on families. As a detective, I've interviewed rape victims. I've interviewed women who've been assaulted and abused and had to take them to women's refuge in the middle of the night. So I understand that. What can I do? Are the police using or publicising enough, such as Clare's Law, which means that people can check up on the history of the person they're going into a relationship with or they're already in with? I don't think a lot of people would even realise they can look at that through Clare's Law. Are the police serving enough domestic violence protection notices, which means they go to a situation and they actually serve somebody where an allegation has been made that they've been abusing a partner? And that is relevant. If that doesn't work, then the police, I need to be reviewing, are they issuing enough domestic violence protection orders, which actually then commit the person to actually having to do things. So those kind of initiatives, looking at other forces as well, which I don't think North Yorkshire particularly have embraced, resolution, because we talk a lot about the victim, which is the main priority, but we also need to look at offenders, and can we use resolution with them as we do in other cases where we actually use systems such as CARA, which is used in Lancashire, which is a resolution where the offender, it might be a very slight sign of domestic abuse or assault, then we can talk about the person being cautioned, brought in to actually be given advice. So women themselves, fire service using them to actually as a safe haven where the actual fire stations are manned, so they can actually go there where there's personnel if they feel vulnerable or being stored. And clearly lots of initiatives that can be introduced, and I need to go in there. And I think I mentioned rape. A man will never understand that, because a woman goes something through, we've a culture, a rape culture, where people tend to think it's to do with what they see on TV. And it's not. A woman, I can't say what it is, but a woman experiences rape trauma syndrome, which affects them there and for the rest of their life. So I need to look at, there's only 1 in 70 convictions in this country for rape. So we need to, as North Yorkshire Police, if I'm elected, have possibly a review independently to see how cases are being put together, and is the evidence does it need re-examining, does it need looking at again and seeing if we can try and get a prosecution?
Thank you so much for your time. I'm afraid we've run out of time now, but thank you for coming in and good luck in the upcoming elections.
Thank you very much indeed.
Broadcasting to York University. You are Why.